Hazy quantum cortices. As soon as it refers to conduits, those that translate a memory for those conduits from where everything can be, as it cannot be, and it is in a quantum evening, for where you speculate better the certain alternatives of what is to be. What this cortex is the being, the one that generates the gene inside the being, until it could be a single cortex, but there are many in an alone one. A nebula is a form of a static concentration of mirrors desvanados, that the single fact of desvanados being makes that its relating and refractory expansion be a course from a back of that course of apparent deviation of light. That is to say, the quantum thing this will be the deviation of course of that back, for where this cortex type will be the expansion of the exhibition. An exhibition will be critic its understanding to be able to understand the nebula, but from the binary same concept neither it will be this understandable, but for some certain course of deviation of the understanding perhaps. When a deviation of the understanding takes place inside the binary thought, it is when this cortex type is, but its duration inside the nebula, a second line can last, divided in 20 frequencies of time of Mars, but the count of the time will be crucial inside the quantum, so that the revision memory takes place that will be the only capable of accelerating that quantum, and that through the same one give parts and totals of the nebula. For what the same one was that part, at least digital one to its then of time, that then of time, it will be the same concept of the then. Let us say when the things happen in that time, that will be its exhibition of time in the cortex. This cortex type usually accompanies to the nebula, and the nebula makes it with its quantum step. It is as projecting in the sky 10 suns, and that the same ones suffer the minimum atomic exhibition of its solar particle, that this will make that. For one of those rays, this cortex type came. You elaborate the messages to the world of Henry's travel and of Asked with Rachel's intervention margin to bud, except knowing that in this action type, it is when a civilization like this are when it makes of this path its passage, for many same reasons of the same location of the nebula, where supposedly makes comfortable the earth. As a mantle more than stars, that it is a rack of distant expressions, considering that as much asked as travel, not alone they know in this that they make, but rather they cultivate much of what they could make never, for the limitation of its meat in the time. Of this it will be to understand first that if the chronos, for example, are they who they impregnate, and do they show the images toward the binary terrestrial science, does all that this science deduces final fact, or does it believe that it is, but it's only retained in the nebula, from where diverse options are evacuated for the earth, so that it ends up being, so that of it has its convergence power to the hierarchical axis of that, which at some time was it. Then you ask yourself, why so alone the chronos? That the question by itself samples an interferent exhibition of this cortex type to the studies. The same study of this cortex type, but it is a quantum trip of your mind inside the nebula. That the same one also serves as container for the trip of the quantum thoughts of one of the cortices of Mars, of this substance type of reality. So then is formed the component nebulosical, which enters in exposed fibers, that the same ones are the same status. that they go accumulating numeric factors that allow that the digits are with the time. The protocols are not only necessary so that the same ones no longer exist never, but so that they have to never exist inside that. It is one in the so many ways that this type of corteges could teach them, as putting inside the smaller thing all the bigger one, as the fact of some ships of the size of a finger that they can fit material civilizations inside the same ones as yours. That is to say, a real and compact fact bound to the exhibition in not alone understanding it, but knowing it. The Scottish type is disrespectful interference when it has already gotten lost the respect for everything. But when you want to conserve it as reserved to something, when all function of the constant has already left it to the quantum mind, that the same one can already convert and to invest everything. It is when to be, the really square quadrature of the space-time to open the way to the quartz special, for where you could increase the quantum state of the exhibitor. That will be already the part transferred of the rotation of the constants inside the nebula, to be